I do make art. I mean, I make art. So it's like I'm not. Maybe in the future I'll do some public work. I did some public art. So it really can extend to outside as well. But my concern is really how you imitate outside. It's very John Cage and Kaprows ideas of art anyway.
You lose this frame as well.
Yeah.
Frame.
Their frame. This piles of shit wouldn't really look good outside. It's actually look good now because of the whiteness and all this background. The white thing really makes it nice. I like that because I'm still in some ways involved in the production of aesthetic,
Yes.
But what kind of aesthetic that I'm trying to elaborate? This kind of aesthetic, but aesthetic that doesn't really have value. I want to have value. I want to place value on each of these things, but there's no value in it. Seriously. Why would you keep the chair? Unless it's useful.
Yeah, it's not useful under the...
Yeah.
But if you take one thing and place it in your house,
I think those are
that's really not good.
But it's those relationships that you're when you talked about creating sort of VIP relationships and these sort of contracts, that suddenly these kind of things, like you add these sort of areas of value and these sort of, this exclusivity you talked about before in terms of people participating in this, it already sort of adds this level of sort of, interesting.
Any questions? Seems like there are sort of a couple of series of contradictions in your work as well, in how you're saying that the frame of the white walls is sort of important to your work, but you've perhaps consciously dispersed the materials quite a lot, so that it isn't actually sort of one particular space that the viewer can stand to view the work, that there is actually sort of moving in and around the materials rather than being separate from it as well.
Do you mean with the viewer?
Yeah, well, just sort of like that a little bit of a contradiction that it's, that you've got the white walls as this defined space. But, also then you're sort of looking at that. Having it so that you're really moving through the materials rather than actually around them, like a viewing space.
There's no sort of point of focus really to engage the setup. There's kind of multiple entry points for viewing works. You can start also whenever you like. You can start with the plurals and then branching out from there. But I don't think it's interesting. It's not interesting to just see the formally, the tables leaning against that, and but it's also it's only the conceptual things you get really. It's like, that's the multiple points of viewing it, and then but really how the staging produced this kind of movement that I'm interested in, how you sort of negotiate with the clutter. And then really when I said there's a boundary between the work and the audience, but I'm interested in also how that blur, the interpenetrations occurring between that through, because the framework is very fragile, even though it says there's boundaries there, but really, just hanging on the umbrella and stuff. that kind of moments of there's no sort of, that's actually just breaking the rules or boundaries.
Yeah.
She just, I mean, stepping on
Yeah, it's
here,
very
it's
hard.
like touching the work is already breaking the boundaries. So it's, but that kind of just, that small instance or moments occurring through the viewing on, viewing the work.
I guess we'll leave it there. But
Yes.
thank you, Ardi, for talking about
Questions?
Yep, sorry.
I don't know, I just,